The unexpected challenger. The stars hung silently in the viewport as Commander Elena Reyes studied the tactical display. At 42, she had spent nearly half her life in space, rising through the ranks of the United Earth Defense Force with a combination of brilliant tactical thinking and an unwavering calm under pressure. The scar that ran from her left temple to her jawline was a reminder of the Titan mining rebellion, where she had first proven herself in actual combat. "Status report," she said, her voice steady despite the tension that gripped the bridge. Lieutenant Marcus Chen looked up from his console. "The Vorkith fleet has crossed Neptune's orbit, Commander. 87 vessels detected, with their flagship leading the formation. They're moving at a steady pace toward Earth." The bridge of the UES Defiance fell silent. The experimental vessel represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. And now, unexpectedly, their last hope. Admiral Hassan's face appeared on the main screen. "Commander Reyes, the Security Council has made its decision. The evacuation of Earth's major population centers has begun, but we both know there's not enough time or ships. The Vorkith fleet will reach us in less than 72 hours. Elena nodded. "And our defense fleet? 23 vessels, spread thin across the system. Most are outdated, designed for policing the colonies, not engaging an alien armada." The Admiral's expression was grim. "The Defiance is our only real chance." The Defiance, humanity's first quantum displacement warship, smaller than a standard destroyer but packed with experimental technology that had been deemed too dangerous or impossible just 5 years ago. The adaptive hull composed of programmable matter, the fusion cascade reactor that generated 10 times the power of conventional systems, and the dimensional phase cannon, a weapon that could, in theory, tear holes in the fabric of space itself, all untested in actual combat. "Understood, Admiral," Elena replied. "We'll intercept them at the Mars orbital line." When the transmission ended, Elena turned to her executive officer, Commander Takashi Akita. "What do we know about the Vorkith?" Takashi brought up the intelligence report on his tablet. "First contact was made 18 months ago by the Horizon Deep Space Exploration Vessel. The Vorkith are a highly militaristic species that controls 12 star systems. They're silicon-based, with a hierarchical social structure. Technological level estimated at Type II on the Kardashev scale, significantly ahead of us. And their weapons? Gravitic distortion missiles, plasma lances, and kinetic bombardment platforms. Their ships utilize some form of regenerative hull technology, like a silicon-based biological component that repairs damage." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Weaknesses? Nothing confirmed," Takashi said, "but theoretical analysis suggests their silicon-based biology might be vulnerable to specific radiation frequencies, and their ship configurations indicate they rely heavily on centralized command structures." The tactical officer, Lieutenant Anna Volkov, spoke up. "Commander, we've intercepted communications from the Vorkith fleet. They're laughing at us." "Put it through," Elena ordered. The harsh, grating sounds of the Vorkith language filled the bridge, translated by the ship's AI into English. "These primates send one vessel. 1. Their desperation amuses the High Command. We will crush this insignificant craft and display its remains as we cleanse their homeworld." Elena's expression didn't change, but her eyes hardened. "Send no response. Prepare the phage shift drive. We're moving to intercept position." As the Defiance accelerated toward Mars orbit, Engineer Chief Dr. Maya Wong approached Elena. "Commander, the adaptive hull is functioning at optimal parameters, but the dimensional phase cannon has never been tested at full power. The simulations suggest it could destabilize the reactor." "What's your assessment, Doctor?" Elena asked. Maya hesitated. "If we modulate the quantum field to synchronize with the ship's harmonic frequency, we might be able to channel the excess energy back into the shield grid. It's theoretical, but—" "Make it happen," Elena said. "We need every advantage we can get." Across the solar system, humanity watched and waited. The Vorkath had made their intentions clear in their first broadcast to Earth. Surrender all resources and accept servitude, or face extinction. There would be no negotiation, no peaceful coexistence. The next day, the Defiance hovered in Mars orbit, a small silver shape against the red planet. The crew had run through every simulation, calibrated every system, and prepared for every scenario they could imagine. But as the Vorkath fleet appeared on long-range sensors, a wall of massive angular vessels with crystalline protrusions glowing with energy, the reality of their situation became clear. They were outnumbered and outgunned. Conventional tactics would lead to quick defeat. Elena gathered her senior officers. The Vorkath expect us to engage their main fleet directly. They believe we're on a suicide mission, a final, desperate gesture before our inevitable surrender. Aren't we? Lieutenant Chen asked quietly. Elena's lips curved in a slight smile. No, Lieutenant. We're going to show them something they've never seen before. She brought up a holographic display of the Vorkath fleet. They've divided their forces, a vanguard of 10 vessels to intercept us, while the main fleet continues toward Earth. Their overconfidence gives us an opportunity. She highlighted the Vorkath formations. We'll allow them to believe they've crippled us. When their vanguard moves in to finish us off, we'll activate the dimensional phase cannon and target their flagship. If Dr. Wang's modifications work, we should be able to create a cascading quantum disruption through their command network. And if it doesn't work? Takashi asked. Elena's gaze was steady. Then humanity will know we gave everything we had. As the Vorkath vanguard approached, Elena ordered communications opened. This is Commander Elena Reyes of the United Earth vessel Defiance. We request parley under recognized interstellar protocols. The response came quickly, a Vorkath commander appearing on screen. His crystalline exoskeleton reflected the lights of his bridge. Faceted eyes regarding Elena with contempt. I am Sub-Commander Vexkar of the Vorkath Dominion. Your request for parley is denied. Your species has nothing to offer except your world's resources and your servitude. Prepare to be boarded or destroyed. Elena maintained eye contact with the alien. We understand you consider us technologically inferior. Before you attack, I suggest you scan our vessel more thoroughly. What you find might surprise you. Vexkar made a sound like grinding glass. Laughter. Your primitive craft has been thoroughly analyzed. Your deception attempts are futile. You will witness the futility of resistance before your world burns. The transmission cut off. Elena looked around at her crew, determination in her eyes. Battle stations. Activate adaptive hull protocols. Prepare dimensional phase cannon for standby mode. She took her command chair, her voice calm and resolute. Let them think they know what we're capable of. The universe is about to learn what happens when humanity is backed into a corner. The first Vorkath attack came moments later, a barrage of gravitic missiles designed to tear the Defiance apart. Instead of evading, Elena ordered the ship to maintain position. Hull integrity at 82%, reported Lieutenant Volkov. Adaptive systems responding. Reconfiguring molecular structure. The Vorkath attacked again, this time with plasma lances that scorched across the Defiance's surface. Hull integrity at 65%, Volkov continued. But sir, the adaptive systems are absorbing the energy signature, recalibrating our shields to match their weapon frequency. Elena nodded. Just as we planned. Send the distress signal. A fake transmission went out, designed to be intercepted. Critical systems failing. Requesting immediate assistance. Hull breach imminent. On the bridge of the Vorkath command ship, Sub-Commander Vexkar watched with satisfaction as the human vessel appeared to struggle under their assault. Pathetic, he commented to his second-in-command. They truly believed one ship could stand against the might of the Dominion. Should we finish them with another volley? Asked his subordinate. Vexkar considered the damaged human vessel. No, I wish to examine their technology before we destroy them completely. Prepare boarding parties. Let us see what primitive defenses they possess before we reduce their craft to atoms. As the Vorkith vessels moved closer to the apparently crippled Defiance, Engineer Wong looked up from her console. "Commander, the phase cannon is now synchronized with the hull's absorbed energy. We can redirect it all on your command." Elena watched the tactical display as 5 Vorkith ships surrounded them, tractor beams preparing to lock on. "Wait for them to commit," she ordered. "Let them think they've won." The moment arrived when the Vorkith boarding ships launched. Elena's eyes narrowed. "Now, full power to the dimensional phase cannon. Target their command ship." The Defiance suddenly pulsed with energy, its hull glowing with the absorbed power of the Vorkith's own weapons. The dimensional phase cannon powered up, drawing this energy into a concentrated beam that seemed to bend light around it. "Firing," announced Lieutenant Volkov. Turning the tide, the dimensional phase cannon fired, not a beam of light or plasma, but what appeared to be a tear in reality itself. It struck the Vorkith command ship, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then sections of the alien vessel began to disappear, folded into pocket dimensions before collapsing back into normal space as unrecognizable matter. "Direct hit," Volkov reported, disbelief in her voice. "The Vorkith command ship is..." "Sir, I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing." The bridge crew watched in stunned silence as the massive alien vessel broke apart, its regenerative hull unable to compensate for matter being shifted between dimensions. Elena didn't allow for celebration. "Status of the phase cannon and reactor." "Stable, Commander," Engineer Wong replied, surprise evident in her voice. The adaptive hull successfully channeled the excess energy. "We can fire again in approximately 3 minutes." "The remaining Vorkith ships are regrouping," Takashi reported. "They appear to be confused." Elena allowed herself a small smile. They expected an easy victory. "Target their communications array on the secondary command vessel. We need to disrupt their network." As the Defiance maneuvered between the Vorkith ships, firing conventional weapons to keep them off balance, while the phase cannon recharged, the tide of battle seemed to shift. 2 more Vorkith vessels were severely damaged by the second phase cannon firing, their command structures disrupted. But then the situation changed. "Commander," called Lieutenant Chen. 20 more Vorkith ships have broken from the main fleet. They're heading toward us at maximum speed." Elena's expression remained calm, though her mind raced through possibilities. "Dr. Wong, what's the maximum capacity of the phase cannon?" "At current configuration, 3 more shots before we risk reactor instability," the engineer replied. "Not enough," Elena murmured. She studied the tactical display, then made her decision. "Lieutenant Volkov, target these junction points on the approaching Vorkith formation." She highlighted specific coordinates where the Vorkith ships would need to maneuver close together to intercept the Defiance. "Dr. Wong, reconfigure the phase cannon to create a dimensional rift rather than a direct attack." "Commander, that's never been tested," Wong protested. "The mathematical models suggest it could create an uncontrolled spatial anomaly." "Which is exactly what we need," Elena replied. "The Vorkith rely on tight formation tactics and centralized command. A dimensional disruption field should confuse their sensors and disrupt their coordination." As the reinforcements approached, the Defiance continued its hit-and-run attacks on the remaining Vanguard ships. The adaptive hull was working beyond expectations, reconfiguring itself to resist the Vorkith weapons, but damage was accumulating. "Hull integrity at 47%, reported Volkov after a particularly brutal assault. Sections C through F experiencing structural failure. Reroute power to compensate," Elena ordered. "Maintain position for phase cannon alignment." The Vorkith reinforcements arrived, surrounding the Defiance in a hemisphere formation designed to prevent escape. Their new commander, High Commander Zaxel, opened communications. "Human vessel," he began, his voice translated into harsh, staccato English. "Your resistance is notable but futile. Surrender now." and your crew may serve the Dominion rather than face immediate termination. Elena met his gaze. High Commander, I must decline your generous offer. Instead, I propose you withdraw your fleet from this system immediately. The alien's crystalline features shifted in what might have been amusement. You have courage, human, but your position is untenable. Your ship is damaged. Your weapons nearly depleted. What possible advantage do you believe you possess? Knowledge. Elena replied simply. We now understand your technology, your tactics, and your weaknesses. The next phase of our defense will demonstrate this conclusively. Before the Vorketh commander could respond, Elena cut the transmission. Status of the phase cannon reconfiguration. Complete, Commander, Wong answered. But I must warn you again, this could be catastrophic for us as well as them. Noted, Elena said. Position us at the calculated coordinates and prepare to fire on my mark. The Defiance moved into position, taking heavy fire as it did so. Systems began to fail across the ship, emergency bulkheads sealing off decompressed sections. Commander, we're losing maneuverability, Takashi reported. Reactor containment is fluctuating. Elena watched as the Vorkath ships closed in, just as her tactical model had predicted they would. Hold position, she ordered. Wait for optimal alignment. The moment came as the Vorketh fleet converged, their weapons powering up for what they believed would be the final assault. Now, Elena commanded. Full power to the phase cannon. Create the rift. The Defiance's dimensional phase cannon fired one last time, but instead of targeting a single ship, it tore open a rift in spacetime at the center of the Vorketh formation. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then reality itself seemed to warp. Ships closest to the rift were pulled apart, their matter stretched and twisted between dimensions. Others further away found their systems malfunctioning as spatial distortions played havoc with their technology. The silicon-based biological components of their hulls reacted catastrophically to the dimensional energies, crumbling like ash. On the Defiance, systems were failing rapidly. Reactor containment at critical levels, Wong reported. The rift is more unstable than predicted. It's affecting our systems too. Emergency protocols, Elena ordered. Jettison the reactor core toward the rift. Prepare for immediate jump to emergency coordinates. As the damaged core was ejected toward the dimensional tear, it interacted with the unstable energies, magnifying the effect exponentially. The resulting cascade created a temporary but massive distortion field that engulfed nearly 30 Vorkath ships. When it cleared, only twisted debris remained. The Defiance, running on emergency power, limped away from the battlefield. Of the 87 Vorkath vessels that had entered the solar system, 42 had been destroyed or disabled, including their primary command ships. Elena opened a channel to the remaining Vorketh fleet. This was one experimental vessel, she stated calmly. Our main fleet is now mobilizing from Jupiter's moons. You have 6 hours to withdraw from this system before they arrive. I suggest you use them wisely. It was a bluff, but the Vorkath had no way to know that. Having lost their command structure and witnessed technology they couldn't comprehend, the remaining Vorkath ships began to retreat. 3 days later, the damaged Defiance was towed into Earth orbit by relief vessels. As Elena and her surviving crew stepped onto the space station, they were greeted as heroes. Admiral Hassan was waiting. Commander Reyes, he said, saluting. You and your crew have accomplished the impossible. Elena returned the salute. The Defiance performed beyond expectations. Admiral, but this was only the first encounter. The Vorkath will return, and they won't underestimate us again. Admiral Hassan nodded gravely, which is why the Security Council has authorized full production of quantum displacement technology. The Defiance was the prototype. Now we build a fleet. As they walked through the station, viewing ports showed Earth below them. Still safe, still blue and white, and beautiful. Elena paused to look at her home planet. They thought we were primitive, she said quietly. They laughed at our technology, our single ship against their Armada. A mistake they won't make twice. Hessan replied. Alina's eyes remained on Earth. No, but neither will we. Humanity has entered the galactic stage now, and we need to be ready for whatever comes next. She turned to the Admiral, determination in her gaze. The Vorkath called us primates. They saw our biological nature as a weakness, but they failed to understand what makes humans different. And what's that, Commander? Elena smiled slightly. When backed into a corner, we don't surrender. We innovate. We adapt. And sometimes, we change the very rules of the game. She looked back toward the stars, where the Vorkath had vanished. They'll be back, and when they come, humanity will be waiting. In the months that followed, the story of the Defiance spread throughout Earth and its colonies. The ship itself became a symbol, a reminder that against overwhelming odds, human ingenuity and courage could achieve the impossible. And somewhere beyond the solar system, the Vorkath Dominion contemplated its first defeat in centuries, wondering what other surprises these strange, tenacious humans might have waiting for them. They would find out sooner than they expected. But that is another story.